Right, hi guys. We are in the bus, and for almost how many days now? A few days. 6 days.
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe a week. Yeah.
Wow. We've been hanging out with these guys here. This is Jackie and Steffi. So Jackie's from America, Steffi's from Germany, and we've just had an absolutely brilliant week hanging out with these guys. So I just wanted to take some time to sit down and video and just ask them a few questions about their life, because we've had some really interesting conversations this week, and I just really wanted to share some of the stuff that we've been talking about with you guys. So here we go. So what inspired you to go travelling?
Oh. It's something I've always wanted to do. Always wanted to know about the world outside of my world that I grew up in. And it started with wanting to move to California because I grew up on the East Coast of the United States. And then I traveled internationally during university. I went to Samoa for a study abroad, and I just fell in love with it. And yeah, I wanted to see as much of the world as possible. And I also knew there was another way of life out there other than going to university, getting a job, settling down, doing the deal. I knew there was so much more out there that I wanted to experience.
For me, it was actually, I never wanted to travel, like in my teenage years and everything, and even when I started my studies, I never thought about to travel, and my dad was kind of pushing me, like, oh, come on, doing your internship. I had to do an internship doing my studies, do it abroad, but he expected me to go to England or Switzerland or France, but I decided to go to South Africa when I was 21. So he pushed me, like, go, English-speaking country. Yeah, I went to South Africa, and then everything started with, oh God, it's so nice to being abroad, meeting other cultures and people and learning English. So yeah, with 21 it started that I've been half a year, lived in another country, and in Cape Town. It's like really dangerous and really special, but it was the best time of my life. And then yeah, I just started traveling, or keep on traveling. After the studies, or in between, it took 1 year off and traveled, and now it's the second time that I'm doing a round the world trip.
So you would say it's quite an addictive lifestyle?
Oh yeah. Well, and that's, it just, you realize that it's like, oh, this is a way that you can live your life. Like, I don't want to stop doing this. It's just my life now. Like when people say, oh, you're going on another vacation, it's just like, I'm just kind of just living my life, I don't even really think twice about it anymore. Yeah. It doesn't even really feel like I'm traveling per se. Like when you first start, but then it just becomes normal, and then it just becomes how you want to live your life.
It's just open. There's no end for us, so it's kind of, it's our life now.
You always keep coming up with other places you have to go, and especially because we're open-ended travelers. There is no end date where you're like, okay, well, that's going to be my last country. You just meet people and they're like, oh, you've got to see this place, or you hear about another place. And, I haven't even gone to Africa yet, so I'm probably going to be doing this for very many years.
There's a big world to see out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And it gets smaller in a sense, but it also keeps getting bigger.
Why do you say it gets smaller?
Well, at least in the travel community, you bump into the same people. And it doesn't feel so unknown anymore.
So you've got no plans of stopping anytime soon. You said that you are open-ended travellers. So can you elaborate just a little bit more on that, what that means to you guys?
It means I definitely do not have a return flight home. I had an idea for a little while to go back to the US or somewhere and do grad school in 2018, but now that feels really soon. So I think eventually I would like to stay put somewhere. I definitely would like to go to grad school and get my master's. But every time I seriously think about it, it just seems too soon. When I first left, I'm pretty sure I would only travel for 6 months, 6 months to a year. I didn't realize it was going to be quite so open-ended. I didn't leave with a set plan, but I kind of figured I would go back after 6 months to a year. And then it's probably a month in, I knew, I was like, well, it's definitely going to be at least a year.
I had a plan when I left Germany, like, okay, maybe 15 months, like doing 3 months Southeast Asia. I did my dive master in Malaysia, so that was my plan. And then after this to go to New Zealand for a year, but it would be like August. So now I skipped August like a couple of months, and now I'm arrived in New Zealand in February. So like in between, we just met Jackie, and it's like, oh, suddenly I was in the States, and then in Cuba, and then back to Germany.
Yeah,
so I was
Cuba.
like, always changing plans in between. It was not my plan at all to travel that long, but now it's kind of got an open and traveling.
So friendships.
Yeah.
How does that work when you're on the road? You get lonely. Obviously, you two have started travelling together. How did that happen? And do you make a lot of friends? Do you keep friends? Do you lose friends? How does that work?
Oh, it's so
I'm getting goosebumps right now because it's such a
it's a very it's like an emotional topic.
Yeah, it is.
Your idea of what friends are and changes a bit. And when I was in California, I had a core group of friends that was such a strong friend base. We were really close. We knew everything about each other's lives. Like, we were each other's emotional support. And so coming and traveling and having people only know me for a few days, it's just weird. They don't have all my back history. They don't understand why I do certain things, and it's totally different. But it's part of the fun. You know, you meet people, you have a great few days with them, and then you part ways, and sometimes you get really lonely and you're on your own, and other times you're like, I can't get away from people, there's so many people everywhere, and
want to be alone, I just want to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
You meet a lot of people for just a couple of days. With some you stick for 2 months together and start traveling, and you meet them again because all the travelers have the kind of same route.
Yeah.
So many friends of us are in New Zealand right now.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm here. Because I was like, all the people I've met while traveling, who I've really gotten along with, all were in New Zealand.
Yeah, and I met another guy I met in Malaysia, met back in Cuba. And then I met another girl in Cuba, and I visited her in the Philippines because she was in the Philippines. So it's always like, it's getting along, and you're meeting other friends around the world, and you're having friends around the world for forever. Doesn't matter,
Yeah, you have such a global community.
Yeah.
I always think, like, if I get married, it's going to be so interesting because my friends are so spread out. It's like, how do I want to invite everybody, but I can't expect anybody to ever show up.
So you think it's given you a much better understanding of people?
I think so.
Different personalities, different...
Your tolerance gets higher, I would think,
Yeah.
Also, you're meeting different characters you
would
never meet at home because it was like, no.
You would never ever think you would, like Tato. Some of the people that we've become really close with, just if you were to be in uni or something with them, you probably would have crossed paths but never really struck up a conversation with.
So that's, and also you meet people like, oh, actually I don't like you, but I have to stick with you next 2 days because we booked like a hotel room with each other or whatever. So you learn how to deal with people. Yeah. And you get over the first impressions. Sometimes as well, it's like first impressions like, oh God, okay, but what are you? And then you talk to them, it's like, oh God, I love you.
Yeah, so you're more willing to give people a second chance. You're like,
Yeah.
And you definitely are patient with the people you are friends with because you're together all the time. So you see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the more you travel, the more you realize that cultures are different, societies are different, but people are very much the same. It just, you're like, oh, okay, like we're all just kind of humans, and our circumstances are different, and we behave differently in some ways, but at the end of the day, like, you can really see it with how societies react to babies. Like, every society just goes gaga over babies.
Okay, so a question we get asked a lot, being full-time on the road in our bus, is how do we survive financially? How do we pay for food? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So obviously that's probably a question that maybe you get asked. I don't know.
All the time.
So how do you survive?
Well, we've got banks every other week.
Like when you're tired,
same as us.
I saved up a bunch of money before I went. I was working 3 jobs at one point. Like, right before I left, I got the 3rd job. And you just budget, and actually we're not even that strict with budget in terms of, I don't keep track of how much I spend every day. I just have a general idea of like, okay, I know we've spent a lot last week, but you have a hefty savings. And then traveling and as backpackers, there's so many options to cut your costs, like woofing or work exchanging. I did that in Malaysia, and I got to dive for free every other day and stay for free, and so that really helped. It's really not that expensive. You just live really simply.
Really depends. You just have to figure out what's the cheapest way in special countries.
Yeah.
What to do, how to do it. I saved a lot of money as well before. I worked 2.5 years and still lived like a student. So I had a shared flat and I haven't had a car, just a bicycle. So I saved all my money I earned, kind of, just saved it for the travel because I know I want to go away again, and saved a bunch of money. And it's going,
Yeah.
But yeah, approximately I spend 1,000 euros a month.
Has your attitude towards money since living in suburbia or whatever to travelling, has your attitude towards money and stuff changed?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In what way?
I'm just not so rigid about it anymore. And yeah, it's just not, I feel like I don't really need it as much. But I never really had that in the US where it was like, okay, I need to save up $50,000 to buy a house. It was always like, okay, I need to save up just enough to go traveling.
Yeah, but even after my first trip, I came home and was like, God, I have so much stuff I don't need, because I was living out of a backpack, 20 liters backpack for 1 year, and I knew everything, where everything is. I need a plaster, okay, exactly there. And then I had a big flat again with so much stuff I didn't need. And I was like, it was too much. And even you think not even about the money, so also about the stuff you need. I don't need a car, I don't need a big flat screen or the newest computer or the newest smartphone or the newest clothes even. Like, don't have to buy anything in Zalando every time. So you think about what you're spending, like way more. Even you sometimes like, oh, it's like $100. I could live in India for 3 weeks for $100.
Yeah.
So you think more like, oh, I could spend this 3 weeks over there or buying new shoes.
Yeah.
That's what I start thinking about.
Yeah. In the US, it's really easy just to accumulate a lot. It's very much a culture of more. And so my friend, I have so much stuff in her garage that at this point I'm just like, yeah, you could probably just get rid of all of it. There's like a few sentimental items that I'd rather not lose, but yeah, just so many clothes.
Yeah,
it's so unnecessary. Now it's just a nuisance.
So we were talking the other night and you mentioned your family and you shared quite a bit about your family. You seem extremely different.
Yeah.
You're not following maybe the goals or the lifestyle that maybe your parents imagined or your family would imagine for you. Why do you think that is?
Well, I'm the middle child, so naturally rebellious. I don't actually really know. I just have always felt that maybe there's more and that there's a different way. And I haven't always seen it make people happy, that lifestyle. And it never really felt right to me to be kind of settled. You know, growing up in middle class suburbia, like I got this sense that like a lot of adults just felt trapped. And I just didn't want that. I'm not saying that they're all these miserable, unhappy people, but yeah, to go to school, get a job, and start having kids.
So when you were younger, you know, you probably had, I don't know, dreams or thoughts of what your life was going to look like.
Yeah.
Does it look anything like that now?
No, definitely. I definitely thought I would be married with probably one child by now. Because when I was younger, 30 seemed like you were pretty much, like, started dying at that point. And yeah, that's just the life I grew up. Everybody by the time they were 30 were married and or had kids. So I just assumed I would get out of college, have a career. It would all just kind of fall into place magically. Yeah, that's life. That's life where I'm from. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And it's not anything like that, and I'm so stoked about that. Not that that can't be a good life, but yeah, I wouldn't change my life for anything.
Well, how do you view your life at the moment? Do you see it as a big holiday, or is this your life?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah. And it feels like a holiday sometimes, I suppose. But no, it's definitely a lifestyle. It throws me back when people say, oh, you know, like I went home and somebody said, have a good time on your next vacation. It's like, wait, oh, that sounds so weird. Because I guess to most people it just looks like I'm on permanent vacation. And how great is that if my life looks like permanent vacation to everybody else? And how great that it kind of feels like holiday all the time, you know? And there's definitely certain stressors to the travel lifestyle, but yeah, it's pretty great. So I guess it can kind of be compared to a holiday, but at this point it just feels like life. Just how we live life.
So, is there anyone in your family or that's close to you that is disappointed with what you're doing?
Nobody that openly says so, no.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody is quite... Oh, no, my grandmom. Yeah, of course. Yeah, she says I'm killing her by going overseas.
Is that just because she misses you, or...?
No, because I should be home with my mom and helping my mom, and the world is so dangerous, and, you know, I should have a job, all of that.
So is the world so dangerous?
No, it sounds like the U.S. is pretty dangerous right now. I mean, yeah, no, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty great.
So, you've been away from family for quite a while now.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's kind of hard, but my family is really, really small. So just my mom, my dad, and my grandma. And I just saw my family Christmas. So it was like a surprising, hey, I'll be home for Christmas. And they're trying to visit me a lot as well. So I'm gonna see them soon. It's fine, so half a year without them is fine. But I miss my mom because she's my best friend. I'm an only child as well. So yeah, we call a lot, we writing, I send her pictures and everything. So we're really close, and yeah, it's okay to be away, but still, it's hard. We leave family, it's always hard, and also best friends. But yeah, I got my friends also visit me on my travel. Yeah. My grandma hates it what I'm doing.
Does she? Why is that?
I don't know, she's letting me know every time I call her, or it's like, oh, when you come home, when you're gonna have a normal life, when you have a job and doing family stuff. It's like, sorry grandma, don't bother me every time I'm calling you, every time, really every time. So maybe she not hating it, but she doesn't like it that much, or she is afraid that I'll never come home again. And yeah, but yeah, she's kind of, I don't like what you're doing.
So how do you feel when people say you need to come and live a normal life?
That's like, what's a normal life? That's another big question. Why is it having a job, husband, family, house, why is this a normal life? What is defined as a normal life? So for me, it's more a life I don't want to live right now. Or right now, I say right now because now I'm still young for me. And still, it's like, that's not a normal life. A normal life for me, it's in your 20s, 30s, yeah, experience the world. Find yourself, for example, like it's a special thing. Find yourself, what do you want to do with your life? And yeah, I don't want to work the next 40 years, even maybe longer, and having the same boring day. I did it for 2.5 years. It was okay because I had like a goal to save money, but it's like I had to change it. And even it was good to work, but I had to change it because it was every day the same. And yeah, so
Life in 10 years' time for you, what does that look like? Life in 10 years' time.
in 10 years.
In 10 years' time down the track. 10. Number 10.
10 years.
Ah, 10 years also.
Life in 7 years' time for
Okay.
you. What's that going to look like?
I have no idea because I never make plans anymore. I can't tell. Even people ask me, oh, when you come home like in 1 year, what are you gonna do? It's like I don't even know what I can do in the next 5 days. So how are you gonna know what I'm doing in 10 or 7 years? It's like could be everything. Of course, I'm looking for the love of my life. Maybe could be happen, could not. Could be in New Zealand, could be in Germany, could be everywhere else in the world. Of course, I want to settle down. I think I want to settle down somewhere. Even could be in Germany, could be here. But I have no idea where life brings me, so I don't make any plans. I hope I'm gonna be happy. That's all I want to be.
Are you happy now?
Yeah. Look at my smile. No, I'm really, really happy. I can really say that's what I'm gonna do right now, and I'm doing it. And it was a dream of mine. And yeah, I'm really, really happy.
So if you were to give anybody in the world one piece of advice about life, what would it be?
Travel. Doing backpacking at least once in your life and by yourself. It's like at least once. Start maybe with a friend and then do a next backpacking trip by yourself because you learn so much about the culture, about yourself, meeting other people, open your horizons, go over your own borders, kind of like things you normally don't like to do it, and yeah, doing it. So every friend I'm telling is like, do backpacking, go out and experience the world.
Yeah, I would have to say go out and experience something different than what you're used to. Even if it's going to school on the other side of the country. I mean, I would like to, yeah, travel. It just, like, you learn so much about yourself and about the world, and I mean, I've never really met anybody who's regretted it. Yeah, it's probably the best thing you can do for yourself.
I just want to encourage you that if you have a goal or you have dreams for life, you know, my advice is get out and take that first step and start making it happen. Look, not everybody is going to agree with what you choose to do in life, and a lot of the times when you choose to do things that are outside of the box, a lot of people just don't understand, and that's okay. You know, but my encouragement to you is pursue what's in your heart. You know, don't get to the end of your life and have regrets. Well, thanks for watching my channel. If you enjoyed that video or it encouraged you in some way, please subscribe, share it with your friends, let them know about it. If you'd like to watch another one of my videos, you can click up here to check out the next video.